This is serious. This is serious. And it's even time for an expressions. Oh my God! Because, oh my goodness, Spurs have done a madness. Spurs, you know when you say Enoch out, Levy out, all these people out, they finally got their way. Spurs fans have finally got what they've been wishing for. They've got rid of him. Levy out. Now, let's have it right. As guys go in terms of bringing in bread, Daniel Levy is probably one of the best to do it financially. When you're talking about raising capital for a club and building, we have to have it right. He has done a madness at Spurs. His legacy, new stadium, they got close, Champions League final, and a Europa. Not bad. Not for Spurs, not bad. But this guy has left Spurs in the best position ever. One more time, best position ever. Because the PSR, perfect. Immaculate. PSR, immaculate settings. Running in the profit, perfect. These guys, when you're actually deep, and this is why I've labeled this video, this ain't clickbait, people. Spurs can win the league. Now, I'm not saying now, but if they now have somebody that wants to spend, that's gonna go into the market. Let's have it right. Every match day, they make 6 million revenue. That's just match day. I haven't even added NFL to that. Because, again, food, beverages, all the other stuff, that's added to the Spurs experience. They're doing Beyonce concerts, NFL. They've extended the deal as well. I believe that's extended to 2029.
Seriously, it's bad news. Daniel Levy has stepped down from his duties at Tottenham Hotspur. It's mad. And people might think, why it's so sad? Why do you care? He's the reason that Tottenham are never going to win anything substantial, in my opinion. He's the reason that Tottenham Hotspur have been held back for so long. He's the reason that Tottenham Hotspur have lacked the ambition to go one further. Now, when I heard the news, I actually thought it was a bit of a joke because I never saw Levy leaving. I never saw Levy stepping down. I didn't see him getting sacked. I didn't see him moving on from Spurs. I thought that he was quite happy in his role, getting Tottenham Beyonce concerts, Anthony Joshua fights, Formula One go-karting, NFL. As far as Tottenham Hotspur were concerned, they were a tourist attraction, and that was Daniel Levy. And it looked like he was happy with that. It looked like he was happy with Champions League money. It looked like he was happy to do what he could to bring money in elsewhere. But when it comes to footballing reasons, I didn't think that he was the guy for Spurs whatsoever, which was why I was happy he was there. I didn't want him leaving. Spurs fans are so happy, man. And you know why I get it? I get why. If I was a Tottenham Hotspur fan, and I shudder when I say that, and I feel a little bit sick in my mouth when I say it, but if I was, I'd be absolutely loving this news. This is the news every Tottenham Hotspur fan wants to hear today. Daniel Levy's gone. Let's start by saying, as a football fan, taking my Arsenal hat off, and I think those taking their Spurs hats off would appreciate that there has been some positives with his time at the club, right? They got to a Champions League final whilst he was chairman. They moved to a beautiful stadium whilst he was chairman. I've never seen Tottenham Hotspur in a title race, but they were in one in 2016 with Leicester because of Daniel Levy. They were, of course, successful. I don't call it successful, but played some nice football under Pochettino, under Daniel Levy. So Spurs can say thanks for the stadium, thanks for putting us in a title race, thanks for that Champions League final, and thanks for the good football under Poch. But they've also got a hell of a lot of negatives about it when it comes to transfers, when it comes to money spent, when it comes to how the club's run, when it comes to appointments of managers, when it comes to lack of planning, when it comes to lack of process or phases, as people like to call it now, when it comes to a lack of know-how and understand. But for me, when it comes to a lack of ambition, I never see Tottenham as an ambitious club. I always see them as a club that wants to be a part of the gang, but have never quite had the tools to do it. They've never quite had the...
It's been a long time coming. I'm pretty sure he was the longest serving chairman in the Premier League, but he has left, resigned, or most likely told to go, sacked, whatever. Now, you probably know about this news because it came out a long time ago, and this video would have been out 2 hours ago if my trains were not delayed and cancelled for 2 hours. It's been a long day. But let's talk about this news. Let's talk about Daniel Levy and why he's been sacked, the truth behind it, what this means for Tottenham Hotspur now, who's coming in, what's the future, the reason, what's Tottenham's plans, because Tottenham have a plan to modernise their structure. Something Thomas Frank did at Brentford was a big part of modernising the structure and the way they operate, and with Thomas Frank coming in, could there be some stuff going on here? We're going to get into all the news, all the updates and more, but I actually want to talk about Daniel Levy and my thoughts on Daniel Levy, as well as sort of get into sort of the news and updates on Daniel Levy, what this might mean for Tottenham, what some of the journalists have said, and more. And I also think the Spurs fans' protests and all of that did have an influence on this, by the way. I think the Spurs fans continuing to protest had an influence on this, and I think that's a message that sometimes when you continuously protest, big clubs will listen because fans do have a voice. Now, first of all, before I get into the news on Daniel Levy, I think there's two things that every sort of chairman has to do, and that is grow the club financially, in size, in fan base, economically, financially, get good sponsorship deals and marketing deals, but also improve the club on the pitch, make the right decisions on the pitch with the financial abilities you have, and be ambitious and invest well on the pitch. Daniel Levy did one of those very well, but definitely underperformed at the others. The one he did very well at is at growing Spurs. Spurs financially, size-wise, sponsorship-wise, advertising-wise, stadium-wise, how marketable they are, how big they are, has took on enormous growth since Daniel Levy has gone in. Now, I completely understand why Tottenham fans want Daniel Levy to go, because he didn't do very well on the other side of his job, which was the footballing side, which was the spending money on transfers, backing managers, getting behind managers, making good decisions. You know, Pochettino could have had way more success if a bit more money was spent potentially. There was an opportunity to win the league in 2017. And Daniel Levy was not good enough as a guy in terms of ambition to win and take Tottenham to that next level, because they were nearly so many times 2 trophies in 25 years. But what Daniel Levy was incredibly good at is growing Tottenham, marketing, business, and that is a big part.
We might need to be careful here. Something might be cooking. And it's not going to taste good for us. It might taste good for a club that hasn't tasted something good until last season. This is a crisis meeting, guys. We're in a crisis meeting. This is something we need to pay attention to with immediate effect. If not, we could all get cooked. Ladies and gentlemen, we could all get cooked. So, let's gather around, right? Let's gather, because we've not been in this territory before. We don't know what's coming. We might have to expect the unexpected for this one. We're going to have to prepare, get a contingency plan in place. I can't speak. I don't know what to do. We've never been here before. So instead of telling you guys are welcome to this video, I'm going to say we've got an emergency. We've got an emergency. And I don't hope that you're doing fine, because I know you're not doing fine unless you support a certain club. What club is that? Tottenham Hotspur announces departure of executive chairman Daniel Levy.